Hey everyone, welcome to the video. Um, so I've tried making a few videos before, put a few up on YouTube, then for whatever reason I just stopped doing it. It's been like 7 or 8 months since the last one I've made, but I felt like I kind of wanted to try to get back into it a little bit, um, provide a little bit of content out there for my target audience, I suppose, would be kind of a mid-game player. I wanted to do just a roster review. I'm just under 4 million GP, as you can see there. I haven't started an official grind for a Galactic Legend yet, so I just kind of wanted to show what it looks like for me with someone without a Galactic Legend, but a pretty, I guess you could call it a decently high GP, considering I don't have a Galactic Legend, and kind of show what, I guess, where I'm at with the game for me and what type of things I focus on and where I'm going to next. So, first things first, I guess we'll just get straight into, I'll show you what I'm farming right now. I've got Gas. He was my most recent big character notable grind, I guess you could say. I've had him for a month or two now. I'm just waiting for that final. You can see how close I am here. Literally 60 guild event store tokens away from being able to get him to 7 stars. Next time I get a 5 shard buy, that is, in the store. So hopefully that will come, I'm thinking, tomorrow or later today once we finish up the Heroic Sith raid. My guild does. I should get at least a few hundred guild tokens and I should be getting him to 7 stars, and then hopefully very quickly through gear 12 onto relics, and I will be taking him straight to relic 7. So in the meantime, I have been gearing up the clones to go with him. I've already got 5s to relic 2 and Rex to relic 2. I'll probably be, of course, getting them up higher, but my other focus would be to get Echo and Arc Trooper to relics, both of which are on gear 12 here, and I have a good amount of gear 12 pieces ready, but I'm not sure exactly what I'll need for gas yet, so I'm going to save those for now. Malik has been kind of a casualty of this. I was working on getting him to relics when I unlocked gas, and then I realized, crap, I better get the rest of my 501st to relics in order for this gas team to really be fully worth it. So he'll hopefully be a relic character soon as well. In terms of shard farming, I'm farming Aura Singh from the Cantina farm. She is one of, if not the best, bounty hunter leaders now, especially with the emergence of Grief Karga and Mando, because her contract, you can just get it so fast. If you, in 5v5s especially, if you run a bounty hunter team led by her, and then you throw in Bosk, Boba, Grief, and Mando, you can get the contract before the other team takes a turn, as long as you got good speed mods, and then you can just disintegrate someone with Mando right off the bat, and it makes that bounty hunter team sneaky good. Honestly, you can take out a Darth Revan team with that bounty hunter team, because you can just disintegrate Darth Revan right off the bat, and then slowly work your way towards disintegrations for Malik, for any other character you need to, but in the meantime you also have Boba doing big damage in there as well. So I'm also farming Dark Trooper because he's just incredible. Under an Imperial Trooper team, he's just ridiculous. I just got him, as you can see there, to 5 stars today, actually. Even as a 4-star with gear 9. I mean, that punch of his is just absurd. His basic ability here, the pneumatic punch, it does a ridiculous amount of damage, and he just cuts through anybody, and that Imperial Trooper team's already really nasty as is. That's another team that can counter Darth Revan pretty well, if you didn't know that, because Dark Trooper does not crit, so he won't get feared when he hits Malak, and that's huge, obviously. I kind of went after Bad Batch hard for a minute. I got both Tech and Hunter to 5 stars, ignoring Omega, because everything I've seen just has nothing good really there. So I'm farming Wrecker for sure for the long haul, because I am currently farming this BTLB Y-Wing Galactic Legend tank ship. Excuse me, Galactic Republic tank ship. And I'll show you more about that here in a minute. And then Echo, just because he's kind of the heart and soul of that Bad Batch team. He's incredibly fast. I think him and Moff Gideon are the 2 fastest base speed characters in the game right now, if I remember correctly. So I don't even have the craziest mods on him here, as you can see. A collection of blue, purple, and green mods, and I still have him at 236 speed, which, considering the types of speeds you see around my level, that he's faster than, I say, 8 out of the 10 fastest characters I go up against on other teams, and he's not even close to my fastest character. But anyway, so I'm kind of farming that Bad Batch. I'll probably pull off Echo when I get him to 5 stars for now as well, because once I finish up this gas team in terms of getting them geared up to where I want to, I think I'm going to officially go full tilt into my first Galactic Legend. And so I'll need all the energy I can get to farm gear. You can see I'm farming Mon Mothma there too, because I more or less decided that my first Galactic Legend is going to be Jedi Master Luke, although he's probably the slowest, longest Galactic Legend farm, because you also have to get Jedi Knight Luke, which is more or less a Galactic Legend farm in itself. Basically the same as like getting gas. But I'm going for it because it is that you do get 2 meta characters for the price of 1 character grind, I guess, because I'm going to get Jedi Knight Luke and Jedi Master Luke. I really wanted to do Lord Vader, but you do need a couple Relic 8 characters for Lord Vader, and what it looks like right now with my current guild, we are unable to do the Challenge Rancor event, so a Relic 8 character is just not feasible for me right now. I think you can occasionally get some packs where you can buy Relic 8 materials, so I might look into that a little bit depending on how much that costs. I would be willing to spend maybe 20, 40, 60 bucks for a couple packs worth of Relic 8 gear, Relic 8 materials, if it could mean that I could potentially get Lord Vader in the future, because Anakin Darth Vader is my favorite character in Star Wars to begin with, and if I could find a way to make that my first Galactic Legend, I think that would be probably the most fun for me. So I'll probably look into that more here in the coming weeks as I finish up my gas team and get into the position where I'm fully ready to go for a Galactic Legend. So let's just, I guess, looking more strictly into the rest of my team, my characters here. We're going to, I don't have a ton of relic characters. What do I have here? 6, 8, about 12. Yeah, 12 relic characters, I think. Soon to be 13 with gas. and then a couple more with the rest of the 501st. Some of these relic characters don't probably get, well, I guess the only one who doesn't get utilized as well as she probably could would be Asajj. I have less than impressive Night Sisters the rest of the way, but of course I had her up there for the gas event, and weirdly enough she actually fits in as the 5th member of my arena team, a Darth Revan led team that I throw in Vader and Asajj, and they work surprisingly well together. I do pretty well with them in arena. But I'm just kind of waiting for that gas squad to be ready, and they'll probably be my arena squad going forward. If you see a couple notable characters are missing some of their Zetas, I have, let's see what it is. Oh, I guess that's not a good character to check out. I have 98 about to be 100 with the ability with the map farm tomorrow. So I have 5 Zetas more or less to use, and I'm very, very stingy using those, to be honest. It probably doesn't do me any good. I mean, I'm always worried about bloating my roster a bit and putting on a Zeta that isn't going to be of prime use to me. The reason I haven't put any Zetas on Commander Luke yet is because the rest of that Rebel squad is just not all that impressive. I mean, they're all 7 stars, but anywhere from gear 8 to gear 10 or 11, really. So I don't want to throw a bunch of Zetas on a team that isn't operating at full strength yet. I haven't even put a couple Zetas on this gas team yet, the ARC Trooper Zeta or the Rex Zeta. And so those will be going on for sure once gas gets to Relic. I guess here, maybe let's go through kind of what I'm working with each different faction. So the 501st, obviously, that's kind of where all my focus has been of late, and they're very near being ready to go at max efficiency, I suppose. Bad Batch I kind of already showed. Even a Bad Batch team full of 4 and 5 star characters, and every one of these guys gear 8. Yeah, and gear 8 characters. You'd be amazed at what you can do with those guys in Grand Arena. I use them, I keep them on offense, and I get max banners, and it lets me throw an extra team on defense that I probably otherwise would have needed to keep with barely cost me anything. No Zetas, only a few, maybe not even a single Omega ability unlocked on any of these characters either, but good mods on them, and they just do so much protection and health regeneration. Hunter does most all the damage for the team for me right now, and they just play so far above their level. It's kind of crazy, to be honest. So next we got bounty hunters. Talked about them a bit. In 5v5, I run Aura Singh lead with Bosk, Boba Fett, Grief Karga, and Mandalorian. I keep Jango for a separate team that you'll see a little later. That was one of my side projects that I've been kind of excited about. This Aura Singh here has let me pull Jango and put him elsewhere, because he works good with both Separatists and Mandalorians. But anyway, 3v3, which is what we're doing currently. I've got 2 Bounty Hunter 3v3 teams that I use. I do a Bosk lead with Boba and Cad Bane, and then I do an Aura Singh, Grief, Karga, Mandalorian team. That's just meant strictly for a quick contract disintegrate. I guess occasionally I also throw a Dengar lead team on defense, but that's only if I place a real tough front wall and I assume he's not even going to get to the back. That's more or less just a placeholder. Bosk, I really need to throw this other Zeta on Bosk so that when he loses taunt, he automatically gains it right back. That's something that I completely overlooked for a long time and just recently realized what was going on, and it's affected me in fleet a bunch too, because that Houndstooth loses taunt and doesn't immediately gain it back. And I didn't really realize that because you can't necessarily see when someone's... I usually place it like on defense in Grand Arena, and I don't use it in my normal fleet arena, so I don't necessarily see it happening. But I finally figured it out, and I need to get that Zeta on Bosk pretty soon, realistically. Clone Troopers kind of already shown with Bad Batch and 501st. I'll skip Droid, that's kind of a vague category. Empire. That, I guess if you want to call it my Empire team would be a Palp lead with Vader, Thrawn, and then kind of a collection of either a couple other random characters. I'll throw in Shore Trooper because he's a pre-taunting tank, but usually I try to undersize with just those three, and they can beat just about anything, especially because I've got a Relic 7 Darth Vader, and he's basically, with the type of opponents I face, the level I'm at, he mows through anybody and everybody. He's not insane speed, but 240 plus the bonuses he gets depending on who you're against and who's on his team. Big time damage. I have him modded really well, I suppose you could say, for tons of damage, tons of crit. But that's what I work with Empire. We'll get more into the troopers here in a second. I've got some other Empire characters here who probably need some love, specifically Grand Moff Tarkin. Since I got him to 7 stars like a year or two ago, I haven't barely even paid attention to him, to be honest, because I don't use his capital ship for anything anymore, really. And he's actually a pretty good character when I go up against people who have a Relic or even a Gear 12 Tarkin with good mods. He can actually be a real pain. He's a pretty good character. Ewoks, nothing special. I did what I had to do to unlock 3PO and haven't touched him since. Probably similar to what just about everybody's done. My first order is definitely nothing impressive. I've very much considered SWGOH as my galactic legend as well, because the only shard character I would have to go after is first order SF TIE pilot. Everyone else has 7 stars at least, but they're just all such low gear. I don't know if that's what I want to commit to. And like I said, I think JML is where I'm going. But I really want to get my Kylo Ren unmasked, if nothing else, up to high gear, Relic, and because he's just such a pain on defense. I could throw him with keeping everyone else the exact same. If I threw him with Kylo and First Order Executioner on defense, that team's just so annoying. Everybody faces it. Everyone places it on defense. I place mine on defense with what they are now, and I still occasionally get a hold because people just underestimate Kylo regardless. Galactic Republic. There's a lot of Galactic Republic characters who don't really function as Galactic Republic characters, like the Bad Batch and the 501st, but my Padme team, now that I have gas unlocked, I'm able to use Shock T on there and save 3PO for Rebels, which has worked greatly in my benefit, to be honest. My Shock T is extremely fast. 290. I rarely face anybody who has a character faster than my Shock T on their whole roster. And so I place Padme on defense almost always, especially in 5v5s. Shock T gets them rolling, and then my Padme's fast, my Kenobi is a tank, and then Anakin and Ahsoka just do stupid damage, and that team is a team that everybody knows how to beat now, but players around my level don't necessarily have the means to beat it. Or what I do is I make sure to place another defense that requires basically the same type of counters, and I can just kind of handcuff them. But yeah, that Padme team's pretty good. I still need to get her to relics. I was able to get the gas unlocked without relicking her or 3PO, and even though both of them really should be relics because they're great characters, so they'll be characters that we'll hopefully get to relic here in the next few months. My Geos suck, to be honest. Horrible mods on them. I do have the one Zeta on Brute Alpha just to the summon Brute automatically. They're not even close to strong enough to be getting watch shards for me or for my guild members, so they're really probably one of my least paid attention to factions. And I really do need to get him up just because I really want Watt. He's so useful. But right now they're just kind of on the back burner, unfortunately. We'll skip to Imperial Troopers. I love the Troopers team, even at low gear with good mods when you're faster. The other team doesn't even go. You just get that turn meter train rolling. I go Veers lead with Piet, Gideon, Dark Trooper, and Range Trooper. Or if I need Gideon, since he's so fast, somewhere else to reset turn meters, then I throw Stark in there, of course. And then they just go to work, and Dark Trooper basically just kills everybody by himself because he's just ridiculous. That's a team who I would like to get them up, because I would like to have them as just my back pocket kill basically every single team other than Galactic Legends. That'd be really nice to have, and it would let me place even tougher defenses than I do now. Lots of Jedi out there, of course. I run just a standard Jedi Knight Revan lead with GMY, Basilishan, Jolie, and Hermit Yoda. Because of my JKR and my GMY, I haven't geared up Hermit Yoda, Basilishan, or Jolie to relics yet, because those two carry that squad, and I just mow through anything anyways. They're kind of like that. Everyone knows how good of a team they are, but they're getting more and more specific on terms of where you have to use them the higher I get, because there's certain teams that, like a good Grievous team, if you don't have either a good Mon Mothma team or a good Jedi Knight Revan team, you can get beat by that team really easily. That Grievous squad, especially if it's a really high relic Grievous. So I basically have them on offense no matter what. I don't know if I've ever placed Jedi Knight Revan on defense since I've unlocked him, however long ago that was, probably a year and a half maybe. But that's my go-to. You see all my other Jedi in here that fit in other places. So this is one of my side projects right now, and another case of a couple low star characters who you just get so much more value out of than you could realize. A Bo-Katan lead with the armor, Canderous, Jango Fett, and Sabine. You'd be surprised at what they can actually beat. A lot of people kind of make fun of Bo-Katan, call her Bo-Katrash or whatever people call her. And if you have a good Jango and a good Canderous, and then you have armor throw, what is it, the Signets, I think is what they call it. Yeah, the Signets on Canderous. He hits like a truck. I mean, like ridiculous amounts of damage. And Jango, of course, you already know how much damage he does. And then with Bo-Katan's lead, every time you attack out of turn, here, let's see. When you attack out of turn, you gain critical damage, and you call Mandalorian allies to assist. And then because of her unique, every time an enemy or a Mandalorian ally attacks out of turn, they gain 8% protection. So with her leadership, every time you do a basic, someone else attacks with it. So they're attacking out of turn and they're gaining protection back. This team is a banner regen monster. It's very similar to Bad Batch. And they're a really good team to use against like one of those kind of not great defenses, but just annoying enough where you know you could that they're going to strip banners from you. This is the type of team you go in there with, and you walk out with full max banners. It's really nice. Like I said, my Night Sisters, as you can see, nothing special. What is that, like a Gear 7? Okay, at least Gear 8. Gear 8 Mother. Daka's like a 9. Zombies maybe a 10. Spirit a 9. 8. So that team is completely carried by Asajj. I just throw that on defense because there's nothing more annoying than a Night Sisters defensive squad. You can get stun locked. You can get plague and just banner stripping. Doesn't get me many holds. Occasionally it does because of that Relic 5 Asajj. But what it does is it almost always strips banners and makes it a little more difficult on my opponent. Old Republic, nothing special. I mean, I had to get them up to where they are, obviously, to get the Revens. But past that, I basically don't use them anymore at all. I don't use Juhani or T3 at all, Karth at all. I'll use Mission and Zalbar occasionally under a Scoundrel lead, just because the way they work with each other is actually kind of nasty. And, of course, I use Canderous with Mandalorians now, and then the 3 Jedi. We all know how good they are, but don't use the rest of those Old Republic. Phoenix, haven't touched them since I was an early game player. Everyone's first early game team. You need them to unlock Thrawn and of course, so you have to get them to where you can do that. But other than that, I don't use Phoenix unless it's inside of, what is it, the Hoth Assault, whatever it's called, where there's that one level where you have to use your Phoenix squad. But past that, don't use them at all. My Rebels definitely need some love, especially since that's where my plan is next, is to go after Jedi Master Luke. So they will be getting some attention soon. Everyone that I need other than Mon Mothma is 7 stars, but nobody's high gear. Chewbacca doesn't have either Zeta. Plenty of these characters don't have Zetas they need, but they'll get there. And so that'll probably be, this will be the faction that gets most of my attention over the next however many months it takes me to get GML, probably at least 6 to 8 if I was to guess. I don't think I could pull it off any quicker. I'd be pretty happy if I just got Jedi Knight Luke by Christmas, and then maybe Jedi Master Luke by, call it Easter or so. Rebel Fighters, I'm working on the Mon Mothma right now, and then I'll maybe try to throw together a weak Mon Mothma team. But from everything I've seen, if you don't go all in on the Mon Mothma team, they really don't work that well. So they probably won't even start getting used until they're all reliced up and ready to help me unlock Jedi Master Luke. Resistance is another faction that I've ignored for a long time. I unlocked Jedi Training Rey, BB-8. I mean, I've got all the characters, really, other than I don't have a good Resistance hero, Finn. Or a 7-star Resistance hero, Finn, I should say. But I throw them on defense most of the time because they're kind of annoying. And they're real specialized use for me on offense. If I see someone that tends to regularly place a weak crew team, then I know I can take Jedi Training Rey against it and beat it. But it's got to be pretty weak because, as you can see, my resistance is nothing special. Rogue One, haven't given them much attention either. Scoundrels, kind of a mixture of all kinds of stuff in here. I guess the highlight of my scoundrels would be I did unlock Bando, like right away. Honestly, probably within no more than 2-3 weeks after he was released. I kind of went all in. Saved up a lot of crystals to buy crystal packs to get shards for these guys. I think you can still buy some of them. So like this pack right here. Saved up lots of crystals in the months leading up to the Bando release. And then bought the packs that I needed with the crystals to help me get them to 7 stars right away so that I could unlock Bando. And then once I saw how relatively disappointing he was, I didn't gear him up all the way. I just kind of left him here. And I'm starting to see people getting better use out of him now. And now that they've kind of figured out exactly what he can and can't do. So eventually I'd like to revisit that team. But I usually place that on defense, even though it's an easy win. Just because not a lot of people at my level even have him unlocked. And so not a lot of people really know what to do with him. I've got a tanky IG-11 and a really fast Queel. And then basically I'll just throw in like a Dengar and a Cara Dune in there, and occasionally they'll give me a hold just because someone will take something horrible in against them and not realize how quickly things can go sideways. But or I'll throw in Nest in there, and we all know what Nest can do, even a lower Nest like mine. Separatists. My Grievous team is pretty good. I really need to get Grievous to relics, because if he's not at least gear 12 with those gear 12 pieces on him that give him so much health, he's almost just a complete waste, because all his damage output is based off of his max health. And until you get those big gear 12 pieces that throw on like 6,000, 10,000 health, I mean, he's sitting at 24,000 health right now. That's horrible. So he doesn't do a ton, even though I've got Relic and all gear 12 droids to go along with him. Although it does, I mean, don't get me wrong, that team is still formidable even with a gear 11 Grievous. If I can get him to gear 12 and then to Relic, that team will really be a bread and butter team for me on defense, because like I said before, that is a very difficult team to beat. It's got very specific counters. It's weird how good of teams can't beat it, but then how specific certain counters can. Like a Mon Mothma team beats it at almost max banners, but you go in there with a good, I don't know, good CLS team sometimes, and you'll lose to it. You'll get stuck behind their turn meter train. All the buff removal from B2, the protection regen from B1, and then Droidica coming out of nowhere with a massive hit, or if someone throws Newt in there and you get just plagued with what's his extortion. That Separatist team can be a pain. And then in 3v3, Newt might as well be considered a galactic legend. For anyone not using Newt lead in 3v3 with like a B1 and a Django, or a B1 and a Count Dooku, you're missing out, because you place him on defense and that team is terrifying. The damage that they do, and the extortion and the banner stripping, and it's horrible facing that team. That's another team you have to go in there with like a JKR to beat. The Sith, my Triumvirate is nothing special. It's good enough to beat bad Geo teams. Usually I just take like a Vader solo or a Palp Vader to beat a Geo team. But other than that, I mean, most of the Sith go elsewhere. Here's Sith Empire. I mean, Darth Revan, of course. I think he's my fastest character. 294, yeah. So most people at my level do not even come close to outrunning my Darth Revan. I placed him on the front wall of Grand Arena 3v3 here this go round. The front bottom wall every time, and I have yet to be beat. So no one has even opened up the back wall against me yet. Not one single time, so that's always nice. Occasionally, even if I'm feeling real cocky, I'll throw Darth Revan, Basila, and HK, and then I'll keep Malik for offense and just solo somebody. Because Malik's a great solo character, as I'm sure many people know. Smugglers, nothing really to show there at all. I guess that's really everything. Unaligned Force users, hopefully we get some more, I don't know, relevance out of this new tag that they added at some point. Kind of a silly tag, really, but I guess if nothing else, it gives Visa Smar a tag finally, like the only character in the game without a tag. So that's an overview of my roster. I would love to hear anyone's feedback as to where they think maybe my next Zetas should go, where they think I should go with my first Galactic Legend, or even just if they think there's anything I'm doing that just really looks like I'm just not doing myself any favors or anything like that. I'd love to hear any feedback, answer anybody's questions. I feel like I probably love this game too much. I get really involved. I love to study all the counters out there, and I love to put in the time to study every character's kit and figure out my own characters, my own counters that work at my level, considering my gear and my Zetas. And I mean, I've found some pretty unique stuff that has worked really well for me and has let me save characters for bigger times and put much more difficult defenses that I normally would. Real quick, I'll show you how I'm doing in Grand Arena here. I'm in 22nd place right now, but I still haven't even placed my defense in this setup. So if I do the math here, that would put me at what? 23,366. So it'll put me back in second place, which is where I finished the last phase. So I'm going for top 10 in Kyber this go around, which would be my first time ever in top 10. I think I've made Kyber like, I don't know how many times in a row. I can't remember the last time I didn't make Kyber. I've completed basically every feat so far, so I think I'm in a real good position to finally do that. And I think I'm going to start to make videos again of my Grand Arena matches and my thought process through it. I hope everyone enjoyed the video. I know it's probably really long. I might have to trim some stuff out of here or re-record it if it's just horribly long. I don't know how long I've been talking here. I kind of get going. So, again, any feedback would be awesome. I'd love to hear anybody's thoughts or discuss any questions anyone else has about their team if they're in a similar position to me. And yeah, so thanks a lot, guys.